Welcome to the Just Pull the Trigger podcast, hosted by me, Paul.
And me, Lee. This is the show that discusses the trials, tribulations and triumphs of the small business owner. On today's episode, we're chatting to Mike Chudley, a street photographer who lives and breathes YouTube. Mike tells us how YouTube has transformed his life and how it can do the same for you and your business. We discuss the power in being consistent and the importance of building trust with your audience. Plus, Mike reveals why he's absolutely gagging for his Christmas cappuccino. All this to come on Just Pull the Trigger.
Mike, welcome.
Hello. Hello, guys.
How you doing?
Cold.
Yeah. And as I drink my coffee, you just told me you've given up coffee for 30 days, right?
Yeah, I'm on day 9, so we've got a long
Got
way
the
to go.
shakes there.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do it because I heard there was withdrawal symptoms, and as soon as I heard that, I thought, surely not. It's only coffee. And I thought I wanted to see what that experience is like, and then after I think the 20th of December, straight back to it. I can't wait.
So there is withdrawal symptoms.
I'm saying that, but it wasn't as dramatic as you think. You get headaches after like 3 or 4 days in the evening, in the afternoons, because you haven't had coffee in the morning, that kind of thing.
Did you ever used to have too much and get headaches? Because I think if I have like...
I think that was why I wanted to stop, because
Yeah.
I probably having like 3 or 4 a day, and then I was like, I probably don't need to do this.
Yeah,
and then I heard
exactly.
there's withdrawal symptoms, and I was like, oh, maybe I should slow this down.
I think it'd be alright, like if you just like...
I'm fine.
Like what?
Yeah.
If you do like have like one a day, it's alright.
Yeah. Well, yeah, on the 20th of December, I'm going to get straight back to it. I can't wait.
Christmas Day, you'd be like...
Yeah. But I just thought it'd be fun to try. It's the end of the year, nothing exciting's happening too much, so
Yeah, you slow down over Christmas.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, each week, I'm sure we'll get into it, but with YouTube, it is just like a consistency.
Yeah.
You can take breaks if you want, but it's not advisable, I don't think.
Will you batch it and then release it over, do
For
your time off or whatever?
For the podcasts that we record, we would batch, but the weekly YouTube videos, it's a new idea every week, so that requires its own thought, if you know what I mean.
So that coupled with you've obviously with your sort of day job, you're producing content for someone else and you're doing stuff for yourself as well.
Yeah.
So you must be flat out quite like producing stuff.
Yeah, I think we're doing 2 podcasts and 1 main YouTube video, and then I'm doing a YouTube video as well. So 4 videos a week-ish, roughly.
Which don't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of...
No, yeah, but it depends what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes a video could take 3 days to make. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. So it really depends. Yeah.
So you're more well known online for your street photography, but you started off as a video guy, wasn't it?
When I spent like 12, 13 years skating and BMXing, and then someone inevitably is filming that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is at skate parks. But I was that kid.
Right.
And my mum got me a camera for Christmas, so then I was filming everything. And then like without knowing it, you then pick up how to take photos and how to film stuff and how to make videos. And then when I left college, I realized I had the skill set to make videos. Not very good, but from like the age of 12 to 18, you kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And then video was like what I pursued for work, because I think more people need video for work. I think if you're just a photographer, I think that's difficult.
Right.
I know a few like freelance, just sole photographers, and it's very hard to find work. Depends who you are, what you're shooting and stuff, but I think if you can make videos as well, that's a huge skill set.
Yeah.
But then personally, I take a lot of street photos. Yeah. I find photography more fulfilling than making videos.
So the photography more is your passion.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
the video is sort of pays the bills, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Making a video, it requires, there's like a more objective end to it. Like you're making a video to sell something, you're making a video to promote something. Whereas a photo it can be more artsy-fartsy.
Yeah.
Which is what I love to do in my spare time.
And I guess more for yourself as well.
Yeah,
rather
it's
than
way more fulfilling, I
doing
find.
it for-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what it is. Sometimes a video project's amazing as well. Yeah, I'm so privileged. It's all great. I can't really complain about it, yeah. But I started making videos thinking, I'm going to do this as work. And then I fell in love with photography like alongside it, yeah.
Well, I see you do the sort of, you go away with other photographers, didn't you? Like you did the New York trip and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That looks like, I'm not a photographer, but it looks like, loads
So,
of fun.
I mean, I always think if people just looked at places as photographers do, they would be like blown away, even more so. But New York's mega, like that's a crazy place. But going as a street photographer is just insane. Amazing though. But I think I've just booked flights to go back in the new year.
Have you?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, because we were talking, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, you did that in the summer, didn't you? When it was like, was it 4th of July? I remember it was...
So hot, yeah. That was was like 35 degrees, Coney Island, crazy. That was amazing. Though.
This is probably preparing you for it in January.
I know, yeah. I want to see it in all the seasons.
Yeah.
But London and New York are the best places for street photography.
So was there a certain type of photography that you were into before street photography?
Yeah, all BMX and skate
Right,
related.
that was
'cause
it.
That's what I was filming as well. So that was like side by side photo and video for BMX. But because you're out on the streets all the time, street skating.
Yeah.
And I mean, we as a group of BMXers and skaters, we'd fly to Barcelona a couple of times. Barcelona is a beautiful place to skate and ride BMX. So you're out and about, like, in and amongst it. And then when I moved down here to work down south, and I was in London all the time, I realised that you could do that without the skating and the BMXing, and you could just take photographs in the street. But it was definitely London that sparked that. So it was like skating and BMX was all I thought of with photography, and then I saw London as just a city, and I was like, oh, this place is alive. Like, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
And then I just started walking around the city with my camera, like without the skateboard.
And did you just do that were you doing that on your own initially?
Yeah, when I moved down here, and then you meet people, literally other people doing the same thing, get chatting. When I started making YouTube videos and posting stuff on Instagram, people get in touch. And now I've got like some very, very close friends that I've just met on the street corner. Sounds really weird. But like very old school, like we'd bump into each other 3 times in a row and be like, all right, yeah, I'm going to say hello now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what you up to? What's going on?
Just randomly, you just
Yeah,
bump
so like
into
the group of lads we went to New York with, I just met them walking up and down Oxford Street.
them. Really?
And they were all taking photos as well. And like 2 years in, we're like, oh yeah, let's organise something here. Like we're all doing the same thing, kind of thing.
And you just bump into them and sort of like start talking.
Yeah, we've got now
What
like
camera you got and all that.
mix
sort of
that with having an Instagram account and me
Yeah,
making
yeah,
YouTube videos, and it's like it's really easy for people to, if you're a street photographer, I find it easy to find other street photographers that are doing it, because there's quite a few of them out there.
Yeah, I suppose when people have got passion, they
Yeah, you gravitate
Yeah,
towards
exactly.
each other, don't you? Yeah.
Do you find a lot of other street photographers just do it like for themselves and then they don't bother with YouTube? And
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, I'm the anomaly. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Most photographers are just photographers, or street photographers are just street photographers. Like they might, don't mean that demeaningly. Like they might have other jobs and stuff,
Yeah.
but they don't. They just do street, just for themselves.
Yeah.
As like a personal, which is how I do it as well. It's just fortunately I can make YouTube videos, so then I like to do that as well to mix it up.
How soon into your street photography career, so to speak, were you started making videos for it?
I started making YouTube videos about photography in COVID.
Oh,
like
did you?
2020.
Oh, so not that long ago, really.
And then probably started street photography in 2017. So we did it a couple of years.
Okay.
And then like a few years in, I was like, actually, I can make videos about this. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I was watching other YouTubers making videos about it, and I was like,
Right.
oh, I could do this.
So you
Hopefully.
started your channel
Yeah.
in COVID,
Yeah.
and it's gone to what is
Yes.
it, 100K, over 100K
Yeah,
now,
yeah. I was making BMX and skateboard videos before that.
Right.
And I think I got to like 20,000 subscribers, which is fun. And then that's where I like figured out how YouTube worked a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And then when COVID hit, I was like, oh, I should start making videos about photography.
Did you start a completely new channel?
I carried on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so no one watched anything because they were all BMX subscribers and
Yeah.
skate subscribers.
Yeah.
Then I uploaded a video about photography, and I was like, oh, this is not going to work. But then that was like a trench that I just climbed out of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I like my audience is all photographers kind of thing.
Yeah.
YouTube evolves as well. So like the initial 20,000 subscribers that I had are probably dead inactive subscribers anyway. Like they're not going to watch a video regardless of what it is.
Because they're the BMX ones, right?
Yeah, but they might, even if I uploaded a BMX video, I don't think it would get 20,000 views because
Right.
I've got 20,000 BMX subscribers.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense? Like
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
But now I've got like 120,000 subscribers. Probably 100,000 of them are just photography. Click subscribe because of the photography content.
Yeah.
But honestly, the subscribe button on YouTube means less and less each year. I think I watch channels every week that I'm not subscribed to, but YouTube feeds
Yeah,
it to me.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Same.
It's arbitrary. It might look good for social proof and for brands to be like, oh, this guy's been doing this a while. Obviously, people trust him, but it doesn't mean anything.
So it's really views over subscribes.
Oh, massively, yeah. Your monthly views is what carries the channel, yeah.
I suppose when I think about it, when I go on YouTube, I don't subscribe to something, but YouTube I'll go in the search bar, and more often than not, whatever I've been watching
They
comes
throw it at
up.
the top anyway,
Yeah,
don't they?
it knows exactly what you want to watch, yeah. It's good.
And
at
you
that.
hear these people on the channels go, oh, so many of you are watching, but only like 30% of you are subscribing, that kind of thing.
That happens all the time. So in my analytics, it's like 60-40 or whatever, like 60% of the people that watch my videos might be subscribed, or either way, and
Yeah.
40% are not subscribed or subscribed. But you want new people to find the video, and to satisfy your current viewers.
Yeah.
So it's a huge balancing act of, will this video attract a new audience, and will the people that watch my videos every week like it as well? Because you want to gain subscribers but new viewers at the same time. So those people saying, oh, 80% of you are not subscribed.
Yeah.
It's like, good.
Yeah.
Because that's 80% new people.
Yeah.
That, well, they might not be new, they might be watching regularly, but they're not subscribed. But at least if you got 100% of the viewers were already subscribers, like,
You're never going to get any new ones.
yeah.
Really, are you?
So I don't think that stuff really matters too much.
Vanity, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It's a nice number though. Like, we just hit
yeah.
100,000 subscribers on James Sinclair's channel.
Yeah.
And we've been working on that for years. It's a wonderful milestone. It's like the medal for running a marathon. Like, actually running a marathon is the good bit. Making the content's the impactful bit, and doing the miles is the good bit. But the medal at the end of the marathon just makes it a little bit worthwhile, doesn't it?
Do you get, when did you get the plaque?
Yeah, 100k. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've got 2 now.
But you got yours first.
Yeah. But I think James's channel hopefully will overtake.
Yeah.
I think we put more work into that. So.
Yeah. How did you cross paths with James?
When I left college, it was a random Wednesday, and my mum was going to a business conference. My mum runs her own business, and then she said, not that like, oh, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You should come with me to a business conference. It was like, I think you might find this interesting. And then James was one of the speakers, and then I just spoke to him at the end and said, let's make some content, or like, you making videos, taking photos, or whatever. And then we talked about it for a little bit, and then slowly made a couple of videos here and there, and then ramped things up. And that was 2017-ish. Yeah.
Just a chance meeting then, really. So
Pretty
if your
much.
mum hadn't said
If
nothing,
my mum
you
didn't
wouldn't
say come to this conference, I wouldn't have saw James speak.
You hear loads of that though. That's how things work.
You could just go back forever though, couldn't you? Like, if my
Of
mum
course
didn't
you
start a
could,
business, then she wouldn't have gone to the conference. It's like, in reverse, things make sense looking back.
Yeah.
But you couldn't predict that, yeah.
Did you tell me once that you started selling stuff out of your bedroom, like skate stuff?
Yeah, so when I was making the BMX and skate stuff, videos, I was selling merch alongside it as a bit of a fun, like I was 15, 16, 17. I made a few £1,000s here and there, like enough for a 15-year-old to be like, wow, I'm making money off YouTube. That's where I learned a lot of the basics of YouTube and like building an audience and stuff. And I think every skater, BMXer, like wants to be involved in like merch and having a brand and like, it's cool, isn't it, to do that with your friends. So it was like 4 or 5 of us that got involved and helped me out and stuff. It was good.
So are you creating your own stuff? Or
yeah,
are you buying,
I found some manufacturers in China.
Oh, really?
So I found like, in this country you could buy like Gildan blank merch, can't you? But then they're getting it from somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So I just went straight
Cut
to
the middleman out.
I remember getting a Chinese invoice and being like, I have no idea what to do with this. It was like for a minimum of like 1,000 t-shirts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
And what was it, a brand? Did you make your own brand?
Yeah, it was my surname, Chudley, but it was CHD.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
I've got the logo tattooed on the back of my leg.
Have you?
And so have like 6 of my other friends. It's like a gang tattoo. they got it done, like one of them got it done drunk when we were away. And then someone else got it done as a laugh. Then someone else got it done. I was like, all right, okay.
So you've got to do it.
Maybe I'll do it as well.
Yeah, it's your name. You got it.
Literally,
My name.
Yeah, that was fun.
So you got your own little gang as well, haven't you, in the street photography thing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the people we meet.
Yeah.
That we walking up and down the streets every day.
Have you got a name for
Oh
it?
yeah, I suppose we have. It's like a collective.
Yeah.
In the street photography world, people like to group up and share their photos together.
Yeah.
So like once a month we host, just between us, there's like 10 to 15 of us that meet up in the pub on a Sunday evening and share pictures and share photo books and just talk photography, like proper nerd out.
Yeah.
It's like real geeky.
Yeah.
But we're like, that's super productive because then you're looking at everyone else's recent work. It's like off of Instagram basically,
Yeah.
like it's not online. Because it's easy to consume content just like chronically online, right? Like YouTube videos and Instagram stuff. But it's really nice that we've found a community, you could say, of other photographers that just want to talk about photography and share photo books and stuff.
It's kind of like a nice networking
It's
event,
great.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. And they're all just super sound people. Like,
Yeah.
They're really decent guys, yeah.
Nice.
When you're out street photographing, do people get annoyed? Is there like resistance?
For some people, there will. For some photographers, but it's all about how you carry yourself and what you're doing and how you present it. I've never had an issue.
When you
Actually,
say
that's
that,
a lie. In New York, I had an issue with someone, but he had an issue with everyone.
Right.
So I was just in the wrong place at the right time. Wrong place at the wrong time. he was angry with everyone on the boat. Was on a ferry from Staten Island to
right, okay.
Manhattan, and he was fuming at everyone. So then I had a camera with me, and he was like, "Don't take my picture." I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
But out of like the 10,000 hours that I've been out shooting, that's the only problem I've ever had. But some people, there is a type of street photographer that would go out there with a flash and really get in people's faces and like really single people out. It come see, come saw. I don't really have a problem with it if people are not hurting anyone, but that might cause some irritation. But it could also produce some pretty cool work.
Yeah.
So,
Because I remember you, I think on one of your channels, or like on the Instagram, you were talking about a video about is street photography ethical?
yeah.
And I remember you saying it, and I went to type it into YouTube. This is like yesterday, and I just couldn't believe the amount of videos there are about that topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how
I think privacy and people's privacy, and especially with the internet, people are more cautious of it than ever, right? People don't want to be found out or caught out. And street photography is not that. It's not about finding someone doing something wrong, and like that's not the point of it, right? It's supposed to be fun and document real life. But people's privacy is important, and I think as a photographer, it is your responsibility to be aware of that. So the conversation of ethics is important. Like photographers should be aware of it, but it shouldn't let you. I don't let it stop me from like hesitating or something.
Yeah.
Because if you hesitate, you're
The
then
moment's
restricting the creative process of being like. There's a common thread of just shoot the photo and then figure it out later. If you caught something that's probably not appropriate, delete it, don't show anyone, whatever. That's going to happen because we take 1,000 photographs when we go out. So, I mean, saying that, I've never taken anything that I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
That's never happened. But it might happen because I'm taking photographs all the time. But you just got to be aware of it and like have the conversation and be a good person. It's the answer, right? But some people, if you're not a good person and you are rude to people and you're trying to catch people out, you'll get found out anyway. People stand up for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So when you say you've never had a problem, do you mean like has someone gone, hang on a minute, have you taken my photo there, and then you've just explained to them what you're doing or whatever, and
so
they're
someone
like,
might
okay.
go, huh? Like they might be like, what? Is that me?
Yeah.
Or taking a photo of someone else?
Yeah.
And then I will instantly say, oh no, but like look at the way your hair is wrapped around that pole, or you see that you nearly
just show them, maybe.
Yeah, you'll be like, look how funny this was, and
Yeah,
they'll be like, all right, I get it, it's funny.
Yeah.
On Saturday in London, the rain was mental, and there was people's umbrellas going all over the place. Basically, umbrellas were breaking left, right, and centre, and people were getting drenched. And it was like, we'd taken a few photographs, but you're so obvious about what you're doing, even they get it. They're like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's just a normal day out and you take someone's photograph, they have no idea. They're like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Were you taking a photograph? If they notice, like, is that me or is that the thing behind
You kind
me?
of like just go past, like sort of, you're taking
sometimes
it
you
and
just
then
play
just
it off.
pretend you,
And you're like,
Or you just, I'm doing that tree or whatever.
Yeah. It's a little bit of your body language and the way you maneuver yourself is quite, you have to be quite nimble and agile with it. But if they notice, I think it's polite to just say, hey, this is what I was doing. Like, this is funny.
So the nature of street photography, it's in the moment. So it's not like you can go, excuse me, can I take your photo or anything like
I
that?
mean, I'm sure some people do, but that's not the fun part, is it?
No.
The fun part is the coincidental moments and the spontaneity of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes street photography fun. If you started setting photos up, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's not magic.
might as well be in the studio, mightn't you?
It's not. That's silly.
I suppose that leads us on to what we were talking about earlier on, like your photography, how you capture it. I mean, to me, it's like mind blowing. Do you know what I mean? So, like, is it luck, skill, patience?
All of it.
Yeah.
I think the more you go out, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
But you can't. I might spend 10 hours out shooting photos and not get anything. Like, you might just be walking around and like nothing is happening. This is so boring. But if you mix that in with having some lunch with some friends, getting a coffee, you're in London. It's the best city in the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I say that I'm not drinking coffee right now. It's fun. Street photography is fun regardless of the results. I think that's why a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
You're exploring and you're seeing and you're noticing and you're observing things, and like people watching. I'm sure you people watch from time to time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Imagine doing that, but you
Yeah.
get to be creative with it as well.
Yeah.
It's like the next level of people watching.
I love going like Notting Hill and just sitting there having a coffee and just
watching
watching
the
people
world.
go past.
You're literally just watching the world go by, but you get to participate and capture it.
Yeah. I suppose because it's your passion, you don't see it as you're doing it for 12 hours, you don't get nothing.
No, it's great.
You don't see it as
It's wonderful. Yeah. And it's actually quite healthy.
Yeah.
Because you do say that it helps you mentally as well. You say
Definitely, yes. You have to really find flow state with it.
Yeah.
And the way I compare it to skateboarding, like when you're about to jump down a stair set on a skateboard, you cannot be thinking about anything else other than like your foot positioning on the grip tape, how long you're going to be in the air for, how to land. It's like a almost meditation state where you're only focused on the skateboard and not falling off.
Yeah.
Street photography is a bit like that. If you see something, as soon as that thing clicks, you're like, oh, here, this could be a good photograph. You can't think about anything else other than, is my camera setting's correct? How am I going to compose this? Timing it, reacting to whatever's happening. Something else might happen beyond it. Like all of that within like 30 seconds is like it's a beautiful distraction from the real world.
I think that's what, when people get help for mental health, their passion helps them, whatever it might be. Like we had Pete on the first podcast, who's a great marathon runner, and he runs every day for his mental health because it's what he likes. So if you're doing something that you like all the time, again, like for you, photography, like I really like, I suppose it's not a hobby, but I've got an ice bath at home, right? And similar to what you're talking about, when you jump in that ice bath, it's
your breath
freezing,
is the only
right?
thing
It's
you can
freezing,
think about, isn't it?
So all your problems go away because all you're thinking about is
Staying
probably
alive.
basically. So that's probably
it's the exact same thing. So like if I'm walking around for 12 hours and I'm chatting with some friends, or even if I'm just on my own for 12 hours, you might have wandering thoughts, but you're walking. Yeah. I think walking anyway is probably the best thing for us to just, if we're ever going to be thinking about life, doing it on a walk is probably the most productive way to do it.
Yeah.
And the healthiest way physically. Like we're walking 30, 40,000 steps every time we go out. So we're doing crazy miles. But then you get to clear your head as well. Yeah. And then when you're actually in the process of taking pictures, it's the best because you're not thinking about anything else. So it's almost like the photograph at the end. I'm not really asked about. Yeah. But going out there and taking pictures is the point. Yeah. And then coming back later on, having a look at the photographs and going, oh, that was good. I got something there. Yeah. It's like a little icing on the cake kind of thing.
So do you know at the point of the photograph that you take, or is it more when you come away and you look through them and go, oh my God, that was
Well, you might see something that was extraordinary for like a split moment, a split second, but you might not have translated it onto the photograph. So if I see, I don't know, 3 people with an ice cream, and then a child or a seagull steals someone's ice cream out of their hand, like mid-flight, that would have been a great moment. That would be cliche, but like that's a typical thing that might happen at the seaside. I saw it happen, but if I didn't compose it correctly, or like the seagull wasn't in it, and it's just 3 people with an ice cream, it's like you might see something and it works as a photograph, but then the photograph isn't what you thought it was. Yeah. So that's always like taking the photograph is probably, or seeing the photograph is probably like 70% of the work, then 30% of the work is actually getting it
in that split second. Yeah.
I mean, it's so nuanced. It depends on the situation, but I've seen stuff all the time, and then I look at the photograph later on and I go, oh, I didn't get it. Didn't get that. That happens all the time. Yeah.
So more than any genre, I would have thought you'd got to know your gear more than how
simplicity
for speed.
Keeping it simple is the key. Yeah. I literally just made a video about this week. One rule people like to say is just set your camera and then forget about it. Yeah. So it's just ready at all times. Yeah. But as the light changes in winter and stuff, that could be quite difficult. Yeah. Because it gets dark and stuff. Yeah. But a simple manual camera is probably the way forward. I say manual as in like, there's only a handful of settings you need to know, and then you just leave it. The cameras street photographers like to use are normally really simple and straightforward. Not like what we're filming with now, for example, for the podcast. This is like high quality gear. You don't actually need that for street photography. You just need it to do one job.
So you're more reliant on your skill and your
and
your
luck. You just want to press the shutter button when you see something, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't want to worry about anything else. Yeah.
So when you are pressing the shutter button, are you? Because obviously with like modern cameras, you can do like multiple frames in like a second.
Yeah, like a high speed.
Is there an element of that, or is it you're just relying on your?
No, I think the fun bit is pressing the shutter button at the right time. If you just held the shutter button down and took 20 frames, you might as well just film everything.
Yeah.
Some people might do that a little bit, but the photographers I hang around with and the photographers that I've looked up to over the years, it's mostly because it was on film as well, right? So they've got one shot and they have to rewind. Yeah. That's not changed. The modern technology has not affected that. We all kind of just stick to it like, as it was. If I walked around and took 30 photographs for everything I saw,
editing would be horrible as well,
wouldn't it? It's a pain, that is, You might capture more stuff, but you might as well walk around filming everything, and that's not authentic, is it?
No.
It's not like it's not as cool.
No.
It's like catching that moment is a really
Yeah.
cool feeling, but like walking around firing at everything, and you'd be like, of course you're gonna get stuff.
Yeah, I
I
suppose
don't
we could do that, and there's no
Yeah.
less
Well, you
skill
might
in
not
it.
know how to compose
No,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
might not know what to look for, which is
Yeah.
the difficult bit. But yeah, you could just walk around filming everything, and you're gonna get something eventually, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, obviously you released a book recently called Learning to See. And when you told me about it, you were saying you're releasing this book and we were going to sort of distribute it for you.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a tuition book
Yeah, sure.
with the name.
Yeah.
But obviously, and then when you look at it, you go, and then knowing what you do, it makes sense that
Yeah.
that's your journey in learning how to, like you say, or Mike said, we wouldn't be able to necessarily know what to look for.
Yeah.
Or to.
That is what that
capture.
book is, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Cultivating your eye. So to
Yeah,
speak.
exactly.
Very nice.
So that sounds a little bit too wordy, though. So it's like, I'm trying to keep it.
And we're going to cut that and put it on Instagram.
No, that's good though, but that is exactly it. So people that are buying that book are going to be off the shelf that don't know what street photography is.
Yeah.
So I don't need to brand it in a way that's like, here's a street photography
Yeah,
book.
Yeah.
Then that would make sense to like the average Joe. But the people that were buying that book are followers of my channel.
Yeah.
They follow me on Instagram. They know what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more of I can be more artsy-fartsy with it. It's like, here's me expressing myself of what I've seen over the last few years
Yeah.
as I'm learning this. Because street photography might be a thing that I do for 50 years.
Yeah.
So if that was like the first book that I released, I wanted it to be like a staple of this is how I started, or this is what I'm learning to see right now. Because I think it's cool. Over the years, you see different things. And even the photographs in that book now, I look at them and go, like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
Really?
Or like, a bit boring. Or like, I wouldn't take that photograph now. Only a few of them. But that's good evolution, right? I think if you're
Yeah.
looking back at your own stuff and seeing...
Yeah, exactly. Make it rather than going, oh, that was my heyday. I was great
Yeah,
back
because
then.
that's definitely not
That'd
the
be
case.
horrible, wouldn't it, to look
The
at?
thing is, a lot of photographers
I'm
wait for
crap
that.
now.
Yeah, a lot of photographers wait for that as well. And
Right.
maybe rightly so, they wait for like 40 years of work and then release a book.
Yeah.
Maybe I just haven't got the patience for that. Unfortunately, I've got an audience of people that were willing to buy a book. So I was like, well, if people are asking for it, this might be quite fun.
Were they asking for it
Yeah.
rather than you thinking, I'm going to just do it?
like more than enough people for me to be like, okay,
This might be an idea.
I might be able to sell something.
Yeah.
I can sell this alongside my YouTube videos. That'd be nice. And I've been taking photographs for like 5 years at this point on the street. I might have a body of work worth putting in a book at that point. Certainly not if you compare that to a body of work someone that's been shooting for 50 years. It's like not even, my book doesn't even touch the sides. But hopefully that's the point, right? Like over the next
Yeah,
decades of me shooting, you see the evolution of the work.
absolutely. So how many years was that sort of across that
So
those photos?
all my folders were from like 2021 to 2023. But 90% of them are 2022 and 2023.
Right.
I think there's 50 photographs in the final book.
Yeah.
Most of them were 2022 and 23. Yeah.
Cool. So with the as your audience has grown, we touched on it earlier. Do you find that you're more self-conscious about what you've got to produce, like because
Yeah.
you're trying to satisfy
Yeah.
those people?
I think a lot of photographers will go through that. Do I post things that are going to perform well online for Instagram likes? Or do I just continue shooting the things that I like to continue shooting?
Yeah.
I think there's a mix of it. I don't think you can avoid it because like if I'm getting 500,000 impressions on a YouTube video or my channel, I can't not be aware of the comments and stuff. I'd be lying if I said, oh, people preferred this over that. I'm going to start shooting more of that. But you kind of just have to be aware of it and then go, well, I actually personally don't like taking that photograph, even though that's going to get more likes on Instagram.
And I guess essentially people liked you and started following
so
you
true, yeah,
because you did your own stuff in the first place.
It's like an echo chamber on Instagram sometimes where someone will post something that performs really well. I don't know, a sunset in Greece, just whatever. And then I could go to that spot and go take that photograph.
Yeah.
And get loads of likes as well. But like, to what end is that? What's the point? It's not very fulfilling, is it?
No, you got
Whereas like going out and shooting something that I've never got before or looking for those unique moments is like, that's the thrill.
Authenticity.
And if I post something that I thought was incredible and it flops online, and so be it. Like, I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
But I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it, because making YouTube videos, you have to cater to that world as well a little bit. Like, what's going to get clicks? What's going to get views? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but would I enjoy making it? That's what it comes down to.
It reminds me of that Peter McKinnon, you know, the guy, obviously you know, but he's a massive photographer online, millions of followers. And he did that, he does a few like sort of massive videos, doesn't he, big production ones, and he did that, the bucket shot one, when he went to, was it like Lake Louise or something, Canada, and he'd go and find this ultimate shot that he wants to get of this lake and this mountain, and then it obviously amazing to look at, but then when he's there's like 200 other people trying to get the same shot.
Do a similar thing. What was, I think the good thing about that was his ideation of it beforehand, because he wanted a very specific version of it, didn't he? Like something to do with the snow and the lake being clear.
Yeah, he was waiting for it.
It's like
it was like 15 minutes.
All of that is the thrill. Like pressing the shutter button's cool. That's the point of doing it. But like the timing it, organising it, knowing when and where. Yeah. Going there and it not working. Like it's like the roller coaster of a story, right? That's why that video is so good. Yeah. Because it was like it literally was a little film, wasn't it?
Yeah, like the journey going there.
Yeah.
And also.
And that journey was over however many months or weeks or whatever he was doing there. But like a day out in the streets doing street photography, you've just got a day of it. Yeah. You've got like little stories among stories. That's what you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah. You might see something and go, that didn't work. Like, if only that happened there. It's like, see something brilliant. I'm like, this could be so good if. And you stand there waiting 20 minutes and then nothing happens. You're like, all right, I'll keep moving. Yeah. And then you turn around the corner and something happens like that. And you're like, all right, cool. Like,
I would have missed that if I would have stayed a little bit longer there. And
exactly, yeah. That's exciting.
Do you find that like, this is, you know, this just isn't meant to be, and then you've just got to draw a line under it and move on?
It depends how woo-woo you want to get. You could make it happen, like you could manifest it to a point that's like, at some point, this is going to happen. How long am I willing to wait it out? Yeah. But recently, I've been waiting less. Yeah. I've just been moving more. Each photographer has a different approach. We were chatting to a photographer. I bumped into a photographer in London, like Oxford, on Oxford Circus. And he was stood there for like 3 hours. And he's like, I'm just going to hang on this corner all day. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Yeah. I'm going to keep walking.
So do you have a strategy when you go out?
Kinda. Yeah, we kind of walk the same routes a little bit. Not in terms of like what I'm looking for, because like things change, right?
Like how long you'll stand in one point for?
You feel it out. I think it's just this is a good energy around here. The atmosphere's good. I'm going to stay here for 20 minutes. But it's different everywhere. Yeah. So.
Do you find cities and more dense populated places are the ones that you've got?
Yeah. But there is something to be said for like the English seaside, like the quiet, sleepy English towns. It's just a different style. Yeah. Probably less people focused and more like environmental, observational, looking for light. But if you're in London, or like New York or something, the people are the magic, aren't they? Like London's one of the most diverse cities in the world. You just don't know what you're going to find when you go out. Interesting characters, families, street performers, tourists. You've got everything. It's great. But then like the English seaside has also got its own unique charm, hasn't it?
Yeah. Just the sort of nostalgia for people.
Exactly, yeah.
There's loads of it about it, isn't there?
Yeah, I think each country will have its own unique attraction. Like English seasides are nice. Like Martin Parr is a very famous photographer, one of the best to ever do it. He's got a great body of work at the English seaside, one of the best. And like Dan Baker, one of my good friends up north from where I'm from, he shoots in Cleethorpes, the English seaside. It's just like a working class town, kind of run down, dare I say it. It's not, I don't think it's a thriving place. But good people, good energy, families enjoying the seaside. That can make
perfect opportunities.
Can make some really good photographs.
Yeah. Will you stay, like I say, if you're in a city? Yeah. Will that be a longer shoot than maybe you go to the seaside?
No, the same. Yeah,
really?
You spend all day doing it. Yeah. Same approach. Nothing changes about what you're looking for. Looking for those unique moments, those funny moments, those things in between. Yeah. But the composition's changed and the environment's different. Instead of getting a coffee, I might get an ice cream. Yeah.
So with your YouTube, you did your 100K video, like to sort of celebrate the milestone. You were saying the unseen benefits of YouTube as well, sort of like the friendships and obviously the travel as well. You've done plenty of that, going abroad.
Yeah, I guess the reason I included that bit in the video was because there's lots of obvious benefits to making YouTube videos. Yeah. Like doing podcasts and stuff raises your personal brand. You might get the obvious opportunities of you make money, your business benefits. There's lots of reasons to do a podcast, make YouTube videos, make content online. But the unseen benefits are the people I've met, the trips I've been on that are not that I wouldn't have even known were a possibility. So in December, last December, I went on a trip through Spain to shoot various different locations for a documentary. If you said to me 5 years ago, you get to do something like that,
Yeah.
you get to go on a photography trip for the Andalusia government.
I remember you telling us about this, yeah.
And it's in a book as well. My work's published in like a travel book. How would I have known uploading street photography videos on YouTube, I would get to spend a week in Spain working with these amazing people, traveling through like all. We had a driver, and we could do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. We had a little itinerary of places that would be good to take. Like, it was a dream job, the perfect photography trip. Literally, I got to bring JP, one of my good friends. He filmed a YouTube video for me. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's actually the dream.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's on the list of like, tick, yeah, we did that for YouTube, cool.
Yeah.
That's not a 100K milestone, that just happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I made that video, I was trying to explain that if you make YouTube videos, I promise you, things will pop up that you've not predicted, you didn't put in the budget, you didn't anticipate.
And it's not the money either, it's these
And we
sort of life.
we got paid well for it,
Yeah,
even better, but like, there's like 4 or 5 things that have happened, be it a trip like that, or meeting a brand and they're like, yeah, here's an opportunity, do you want to go ahead and do this, or meeting friends or whatever. But making YouTube videos easily has changed my life without a shadow of a doubt. But it's just a grind, and you don't see it for years.
Yeah.
It's like 4 years in, you're like, oh, this is kind of worthwhile now.
Yeah.
So you've got to enjoy it.
So there's got to be points in that 4 years where you're like,
oh yeah, you're like
what am I doing
grinding,
this for?
trying to figure out what thumbnails work and what titles work, and you're like, oh, it's hard work. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
It's a bit like this, really. I mean, like, this is the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
And we've had chats about this like recently. Like, we're not expecting anything out of this for
the key is
miles.
the trial and error. So you do loads of reps and sets. So you
Yeah.
figure out what was good and what wasn't good.
Yeah.
And like, it's the tiny little details as well. Like this for your notes, for example, you might realize it actually doesn't work like this. We need to do something else. Or like the guys filming might realize, actually, we had a problem with that before. Let's tweak that. And then like 100 episodes in, that's when you're good.
You're 1% better every time.
But it's so hard to say that to yourself when you're 4 episodes in. You're like, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
But the key is for you to enjoy these conversations.
That's it.
And then you'll probably keep going.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
if you don't enjoy these conversations, then you'll just be like,
Oh, then it's easy to give up, isn't it? Just
I really enjoy them, to be honest with you. I think it's really, really interesting. Just listening to you, is interesting. And when you've got a good guest on, it's quite easy. You're just listening basically most of the time.
yeah. Thankfully, because I was making photography videos, I was always out taking photographs. And making videos was kind of straightforward for me at the time. It depends how much effort you want to put in. It can get difficult, but it's a pretty seamless process. Like editing photos, editing videos is what I do, like day in, day out. So if I'd go out and take photographs, I can make a video talking about the photographs. It's not really much. It's not that much extra effort. It is effort to continue doing it each week, but it wasn't. Thankfully for me, it wasn't a grind to start. I was on my way, and then 4 years later, I was like, all right, okay, this is working now.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're starting with the aim, right, we better make some money out of this, you probably won't.
Oh, yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. Because obviously, as a photographer, as a street photographer, you would say there's probably not an income or a money from it
No, street
necessarily.
photographers don't make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite sad actually.
Yeah.
Because there's some photographers making some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But there isn't a demand for it other than the photographer wanting to do it.
Except for themselves.
There might be like at a later date, they release a body of work, they release a book to celebrate all that hard work, but it's like that won't make them money that's paid for all the work they've put in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's the odd occasion where you might get commissioned to do stuff. Like that Andalusia trip in Spain, we got paid to take photographs around Spain, and they've used those photographs for all their travel advertisements and stuff. But that was also like, they made a documentary about it, and that was content as well, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess you can't hang your hat on those opportunities.
No,
So
street photographers, all the street photographers I know work as photographers, or they work in a creative industry, or they're busy outside of street photography.
So the street photography, not really much of an income generator.
Now, there might be odd jobs here and there for people, but it's not. I mean, I know like the dream gig is being commissioned by New York Times to document New York, or whatever. That stuff might happen occasionally, but not for the amount of street photographers there are. No one's getting paid for that every week.
So put aside the stuff that you do with James, like income streams, What are they?
Yeah, YouTube would be the obvious benefits. You know,
Yeah.
talk about the unseen
Yeah.
benefits. Like making money on YouTube's been great now the last 2 years, but look, it's been 4 years with nothing, and then like the last 18 months have been really good. But that might be brand deals.
Yep.
You're getting sponsored to promote stuff. AdSense on YouTube, although that's pretty little. Like people think YouTubers get paid a lot for views. It really is not. But the more views you get, it does increase, and the more views you get, the more brands are going to pay, right? So it kind of like it's exponential.
Of course, yeah.
And then might sell a book. Like I wouldn't have made a book if I didn't have an audience. There's no way I would have just made a body of work for like no one to buy.
That'd be
Makes no sense.
demoralising as well, wouldn't
It's
it?
kind of like that's why street photographers don't make much money as well, because street photographers are shooting for themselves, and you don't. Like the group of friends that I've got that we go out and shoot a lot of London with, I've not seen all their photographs.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know what half the stuff they've got, and if something's really exceptional, they'll share it. But
Yeah.
like, there's so much work that goes unseen that no one's going to pay for, that wants to pay for. That's like it's just it's like a hidden art, isn't it? A little bit until you decide to share it. But making YouTube videos means I have to share something every week, or like I have to show up and be there and talk about it and just be amongst the conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, fortunately now like brands are paying for stuff. My audience bought my book. I did a zine from New York.
Yeah.
Little things like that helps. Nice.
Yeah, you got the presets as well.
Yeah, that trickles along every
Which
day.
is nice, 'cause it's quite a leverage work almost, isn't it?
Yeah, you do that once, and then I was like, here's how I edit my photographs. You can download the files. That's nice.
Yeah.
So is that literally? I mean, I'm a complete
Yeah.
novice. Don't know what you're talking about really. So,
I've made a couple of Lightroom presets.
Right.
So you know, like an Instagram filter.
Yep.
It's like the easiest way to describe
Right,
it,
okay,
although
yeah,
that's disgusting. An Instagram filter, I could save my own style of Instagram filter
Okay.
and then send you the file.
and then they just download it onto
Yeah, it's like
onto
10 quid.
Lightroom. Yeah.
And you get like 7 or 8 presets, and then they can tweak and play around with them and stuff.
Cool.
There's loads. If you make content online, there's loads of digital products and types of ways of making money, right? But the street photographers that don't do any of that don't see any of that. If that makes sense.
So
I'm like the anomaly of like actually making money from walking around the streets. Just fortunately because I can make YouTube videos from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, rare.
And that's where you was saying, almost like with a photographer, I'm not sure if it was on camera or beforehand, but you were saying the photographers that can video,
Yeah.
they're the people that are the most in demand because they're.
I think so,
So
but
versatile.
I don't want to say that and then degrade the photographers
No, of
that
course
are
not.
just doing it really well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then they'll get work.
Yeah.
Like if you know, it's who you know as well, right? So there'll be photographers in this space that have never made a video in their life that are killing it. But yeah, if you know how to edit videos as well, especially if you're starting out and you're looking for work, it's like if you can just content creation as a whole now is like its own thing, isn't it? Its own. If you can get hired as a guy or a gal that can make content, full stop, then it's gonna be easier than someone that's like, no, I just press the shutter button, like, I just take pictures.
Yeah.
So that's a more difficult thing to sell, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So gone are the days of maybe what I would know as a photographer 10 years ago. They might make their own website, put the photos on there, and you can buy the prints or anything.
You can still do that.
Yeah.
But it helps if you've got an audience, people that
Yeah.
are going to buy it. Like just people naturally coming across your
It's not
work's
gonna
rare
happen, is
unless
it? Yeah, true.
unless it really stands out.
Yeah.
Like I know better photographers than me, but if I put something up to sell and they put something up to sell, unfortunately they're not going to sell it
Yeah.
because they've not got any attention anywhere.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be about that as well. Like maybe we can get into that on YouTube. Like it shouldn't be about selling yourself all the time. It should be about the art.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
It's the world we live in, isn't it?
yeah, it's not. People are not going to find it unless it's just truly exceptional and it like sells itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, making content. Generally on this whole conversation here, making content will definitely draw eyeballs to your stuff, which I think is nice as a photographer because you get a little bit of recognition for the work you've been doing, where otherwise it would go unseen.
Seems like personal brand is sort of a bit of a buzzword really in the last few, I think recently, where
Yeah.
people just, even if you run your own company or you know whatever you're doing, something for yourself is a huge thing that people are
I
pushing.
think the way I look at it is it's just trust and
Yeah.
people can resonate with someone that's actually just themselves.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of content online, you can consume so much fake nonsense. Still might be entertaining. Still might be like, I watch crap on my phone all the time. Like I'm just like everyone else. But when you come across someone that actually is just themselves, that lands a bit more. It resonates a bit more with people.
Yeah.
People can get on board. I was thinking about this the other day. So this is a Cole Buxton hoodie, and I bought a Cole Buxton jacket as well the other day. It's kind of expensive streetwear company, and I'm not like totally into my fashion and stuff, but I like the stuff they're making. I don't buy anything from H&M or Zara or Top Man as it once was, or I just don't buy high street clothes. I'm not really into it that much, but I am spending 200 quid on a hoodie with Cole Buxton. I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm trying to like assess my own behavior. And it's like, well, I think it's because I'm watching this dude make this brand. I'm watching, there's 2 lads that are involved mainly. There's probably a couple of others, but they're like kind of documenting it on Instagram, and they share their vision, and it's cool to see other people.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost relating to them as they're a bit older than me. Like they're killing it, and I love the brand, so therefore I'm more inclined to buy their hoodie. It's like I'm not even someone that loves hoodies, and I don't really think about it too much, but it's like actually what they're doing over there is pretty cool. I'm going to get on board with that. And I've watched myself act in a way that's like, actually I can resonate as a customer. And they don't even make content as content, like they don't do YouTube videos and podcasts per se, but they do every now and then. So every time they drop something, I'm like, I'm going to check that out. Like these guys are cool. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think people buy people, don't they?
Why would I go to H&M and buy a hoodie if I can support Cole and Johnny, the 2 lads that run Cole Buxton? I think that's cool.
Yeah, and like James, I mean, would he be as successful? He definitely wouldn't be as successful if he hadn't made that content for however many years he's been making.
Yeah, and that content, that business content just opens up amazing doors of opportunities for him, for deals and whatever he wants to do, because these people know who he is and they're ready to, they know what he's about. People can trust him. Hopefully people can trust him. And so hopefully that person you're following online, you can trust them. And you can get a feel of it if not, and then you don't watch their content or you don't follow their...
Yeah. Well, I think whether people like you or not, they know about you, don't they?
Yeah.
And they have an opinion.
Yeah.
So...
Especially because it's never been easier to make this content, right?
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's trying. So then the people that are actually making good stuff, I think they stand out a little bit more. And this is probably a conversation for a whole other day, but like the people not starting because it's saturated online and everyone's got a podcast and everyone's got a YouTube channel. It's like, no, they really don't. Everyone's starting a podcast at the minute. It's like, no, they're not. They're really not. Like you making a podcast really is a standout move compared to every other business. But it's just if it's good or not, then it'll get seen. That's nothing saturated if it's good. If there's a demand for it, people will watch it.
I think JB come out with a stat, wasn't it? Something it's like this, like 1.3 million podcasts or something, but only 300,000
are actually active.
Stuff,
which is nothing.
In global scale, like that's nothing.
But even for like YouTube, where there is billions of users or hundreds of millions of users, if it's good, people will watch it. It's like I was chatting to another photographer the other day that was saying they're thinking about making photography videos. And I'm like, go for it. It's like, but there's loads of photography videos on YouTube. It's like, no. It's just because you watch photography content on YouTube. You're aware of it all. It's like, actually, you just share your opinion and share your thoughts and be you, and people might like it.
Yeah.
If they don't, then you don't get followers and subscribers. Sorry, but like if you're making good stuff, it will get seen.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice thing to, if the quality is good and you're sharing cool stories and experiences or whatever it may be, it's not oversaturated. Like no one else can start a YouTube channel ever again.
Yeah.
It's like some of the smallest creators now are some of the best because they're just authentic than themselves.
I think if you can be bothered to do it, you're ahead of 99% of the competition anyway.
Totally.
You know,
people second guess themselves so much. They think, oh no, I won't do that.
I won't do that. There's so many people already doing that. It's like, okay, then, well, you're not going to reap the rewards.
I mean, apart from James, I literally don't know anyone personally that makes a podcast. So, you know.
But it might look like if you go online, it's everyone's got a podcast.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like they really don't. Yeah.
You've got a bit of philosophy about the whole long form and short form content, don't you?
Yeah. It sounds like I'm like hating on short form. So me and James say this a lot. We say short form content funds your ego, and long form content funds your bank account. And short form, fast paced dopamine hits of Instagram Reels and TikToks lack any substance of building trust with a brand or. No one feels good after watching short form content. You might get that, you might have a laugh here and there, but it's not going to last. Whereas a long form podcast, even an email written really well, a blog post, a YouTube video, anything that takes people more than 2 seconds to consume nowadays, anything that's probably longer than 5 minutes to consume is long form content. Yeah. People can get on board with that and follow along, and it'll filter out the people that haven't got the patience to watch it as well. So it's like an Instagram reel might get 20 million views. We've done this a couple of times, but you don't get any valuable followers from it. We made a video on James's account asking people in the street how much how much money do you think coffee shops make? It's like a fun like trivia kind of thing. 20 million views on TikTok. Are any of them people coming to our events, signing up for the Entrepreneurs University? Are they subscribing to the YouTube channel and watching every week? Are they, not that there's valuable and unvaluable people, but are they valuable viewers to us? Are they worthwhile customers? So it's just 20 million views for the sake of 20 million views, just so we can say we've got 20 million views. And Instagram content and TikTok content is actually easier to make, so everyone just does that. But if you made valuable long-form content and built an audience, 1,000 views on a YouTube video is way better than 10,000 views on an Instagram reel. Instagram reel is so easy to make a hit. Make a YouTube video, get views is work. So you have to put the effort in. And if it's quick to build, it's quick to fall as well. If you can get 20 million views on a video, it's easy not to get 20 million views on a video. If you can get 10,000 views on a YouTube video every week, you're doing something good. And that's valuable stuff.
I suppose, correct me if I'm wrong, like YouTube, you actually have to search for this stuff as well, rather than just come up.
Yes, I mean, if you open YouTube, it will feed you a selection of content to pick. You have to select what you're watching. Whereas Reel will just, you open your phone, or TikTok, it's like an infinite scroll. That's the difference, right? It's an infinite scroll. Whereas on YouTube, it's a little bit more curated to what you're going to want to watch. But just the effort to make a 10-minute YouTube video is just a totally different mindset than a 30-second Instagram reel. And I think the impact of it speaks for itself. I mean, we make short-form content for James's content off the back of making long-form podcasts and long-form YouTube videos. And then I might edit a 20-second clip because it's a good clip to then hopefully people want to go and watch the long-form.
That's the hook to get them to the
No,
long
I
form.
don't actually think people often do that. Like, how often do you watch a clip and then stop what you're doing to go watch the full thing? Occasionally.
Right.
But I don't think it's like, a lot of marketing people say, oh, you need to make short form content to promote the long form content. And I just think if the long form content's good enough, people will watch it. They don't need to be sold to with a 30-second trailer for the. I mean, it might work. Like, there's cases where it works, but we could grow James's YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers and not make short form content, and it wouldn't. I think we would. Growing an audience on Instagram is valuable. It's useful. But the 100,000 YouTube subscriber count would exist anyway. Because hopefully the videos are good on YouTube.
They stand on their
own. I mean,
own.
my YouTube channel, 118,000 subscribers. I don't make short form content. I don't make reels and stuff. I don't like doing it. It's not fun.
No.
But I've still managed to build an audience of people that will buy my book or whatever.
Is there anything you don't like about YouTube? Because you're a big advocate of it. I didn't know. If
Definitely the sensationalism of it. Like the, what do people call it? The Mr. Beastification of it. So like, who can make the craziest thumbnail and the scream the loudest and shout the loudest in the YouTube title is like, that sucks a little bit because it's taken away from the storytelling and the filmmaking because it's like dopamine hits. And I think people are like becoming a little bit desensitized to it. I don't watch anything on YouTube that's crazy loud in your face. I like to keep the photographers I watch on YouTube are really chill and like normal people, and I think that resonates more. But there's still like, even when I'm making a YouTube thumbnail for James, I'm like, how can I clickbait this? And it's like, okay, you need people to want to click. Like, in a way, you need to know how to clickbait. But then, hopefully, people are not sold to, and you can tone it down a bit. And it's like, knowing that whole thing exists. It's like knowing that I have to make a title and thumbnail sucks. I wish people could just watch the video. But if the title and thumbnail is not very good, they're not going to click. I'm like disagreeing with my own thoughts here. It's like, I hate that title and thumbnails matter, but they absolutely do. So you just got to play the game.
It's a real catch-22, isn't it?
Yes, I don't want to play the game, but I have to play the game because YouTube
to win.
YouTube will reap the rewards from it if you build an audience and you make content, and it's a really good. I can't believe I get to make YouTube videos for a living. It's fantastic. But so me complaining about making titles and thumbnails is a real first world problem.
But it's a big part of it.
The whole sensationalism of it sucks. I wish we could just like make cool films. That'd be nice. Like if Interstellar was released on YouTube as a 10-minute video, it would suck. But that's why it's a 3-hour epic. That's why
everyone keeps telling me about it. I've not watched it.
Oh my god!
You're gonna walk out.
It's the best film,
Really?
But like, that is cool art. Is like that's one of the best things humans have made. That can't really be made on YouTube. So YouTube lacks that. It can possibly lack that level of substance because people are just chasing the dopamine hits. But they're saying that there's a lot of good creators on there that are making cool shit. So it depends on the person and the individual.
When did you, like, was there a point where you go, right, this is my job now, rather than just, oh, I'm doing this for fun?
I think as soon as, so on my YouTube channel, the last 18 months have been phenomenal.
Right.
But I've still not treated that like work, because it's like taking photographs and talking about photographs, and like my recent video uploaded, I was talking about photo books I've got. That's not work. That's like, I'm nerding out. So my aim is to keep it like that. And there's a temptation to just take every brand deal that lands in my inbox, because they're going to pay good money to promote something to my audience. But I guess people don't see what you're rejecting, right? I've said no to loads of stuff that's just not right. I could have easily said, yeah, I'll make that video for you, but
I think people see through that, though, don't they, after a while?
yeah, I mean, it's also champagne problems, like me sat here saying, oh yeah, I decline loads of brand deals.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever, mate. So keeping an eye on that and not selling my soul, I guess, is important. But then working with James, I've treated that like a job, because it's not my channel. I'm just doing the work for him. It's making the videos and editing it. It's more objective. Like it's fun because it's not personal. It's not. Yeah, I like making videos and editing and stuff. So it's a privilege to get to do that and it not be about me.
Yeah.
Because my channel's enough about me. I don't want to talk about me all the time.
Working on 2 channels, though, must really help you just give you a much more rounded view on
I
YouTube,
live and breathe YouTube
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, I don't. It's kind of crazy that 2 dudes made it in 2004 or whatever it was, and it's like my life now.
Yeah, exactly.
But because they're so separate, like photography stuff, it's a totally different world on YouTube to James Sinclair's business stuff. So like the business content we make, we film and edit it in a totally different way to how I would make a. Like I could just make a photography video and just like flick through a few pages in a book, and like my audience will love it. But then like we probably couldn't do that with James's content. People are like, this is boring. Like teach me some stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like artists might watch the photography stuff,
Yeah.
and creative people might watch the photography stuff. Whereas like the entrepreneurial stuff is probably much more like go-getters and hard workers, and like you providing value for them is actually probably a little bit more difficult than providing value for photographers, because I could just stick a few photos on screen and be like, here's what I did at the weekend. Whereas James actually has to provide some tangible value.
Yeah, he's got to feed the beast, isn't he?
Which he's good at. So
Yeah.
it works out. Yeah.
I suppose it's quite hard for him as well. Like, could he be to come up with new stuff all the time, so he's not regurgitating old stuff all the time? I suppose you can regurgitate old stuff a little bit.
Yeah, you can. You also change the way you tell the story as well, so you get better at it and stuff. So there's definitely videos on James's channel that we've made 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we did a recent video about he broke down the business model of soft play centers.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to explain everything: how they make money, how you get customers, are they successful or not, how we operate soft play centers. We made that video about 3 years ago.
Oh.
Just no one watched it.
Right.
It just wasn't as good. We made it 2 weeks ago, 250,000 views. It's bonkers. And in my mind, I'm like, they're the same video.
Yeah.
We're talking about the same thing, but the way I edited it would be different. The way we titled and thumbnailed it would have been different. All of it, you just get better, don't you, over time?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you just niche down into knowing now you've got the bigger audience, what they like about what the current content. And
Yeah, like the intro and the hook, the way we did the first video might not have really got people's attention.
Yeah.
Which is back to this sensationalism thing again. Like the value in that first video is, I think, is probably the same as the value in the video we made last week. But the video we made last week was just presented better. It was edited better. It was filmed better, and therefore it got more views.
Would it make a difference that you've launched it when he's got 100,000 followers rather than when he had 10?
So there's more people
whatever?
that are going to see it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can regurgitate stuff, but as long as it's better, or you're improving. I think
a lot of people do get worried about sort of regurgitating things, because someone said like you're living in your head in the clouds if you think everyone's consumed absolutely everything that you put out and will remember what you did. Because we say that about Gary Vee, like
he's only got like 3 things that he says every episode, hasn't he? But like,
and he just spits it out all the time.
If that lands for someone that comes across it for the first time at the right time in their life, then that message is going to be so powerful.
Yeah.
Literally change someone's life by him saying, "Make 100 pieces of content, man!" Like, And if someone's not heard that before, they go, "Oh shit! Like, let's do it."
Yeah.
Same with like my photography stuff. I've made loads of camera settings and technical videos before, but it'd been like 2 years since I've ever dived into it again. Then last week I made a video about my camera settings again. Like, I'm sure there's people that have heard that before, but I've got a whole new audience of people probably watching now. I think they might benefit from it, hopefully.
They might trust you so much that they actually want to watch it the same thing again in a different way
Hopefully,
anyway.
yeah. And if like loads of comments came through saying, yeah, Mike, we've heard you talk about this all the time, then you take that feedback on board and move forward. But like, I don't think that happens.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you talk about it all the time, I don't think that would.
Even Gary Vee, we joked there saying he says the same 3 things over the time, but like it doesn't affect me.
No.
I've heard him say it over and over again. I've read his books.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still watch it, don't you?
But if he was on stage talking, I'd still listen.
Yeah.
Because there's that trust as well.
Yeah.
And you say the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, James, I could repeat all of his one-liners right now. I've worked with him long enough. He says the same stuff over and over again, but it's actually tangible, practical knowledge that's useful.
People need to hear these
I
things
think
again.
they
as
do.
well.
I think you're
It's
right.
valuable
I was gonna
stuff.
say,
Why
they
would you need to change it?
You know, the business masterclass. I didn't go the first time. You went the first time. A lot of it was the same stuff.
Like 50% same slides.
Yeah,
very
We
similar.
like tweak stuff and improve stuff, or like change the messaging on some stuff. But if it's good, then it don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time.
Yeah, like you say, some people need to hear it more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said that about books. Like, you're going on to the new book. But if you had like sort of 10 really good books,
That's probably all you need to read
Yeah.
for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just 8 of the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll be more than satisfied.
7 at the best.
Yeah.
The numbers going down.
Yeah.
What is you have more than one, but one piece of advice to someone who's out there going, they're 18, they want to start.
Make content about the thing you're absolutely passionate about, because then you will get through that grind of like shouting into the abyss. Because it'll be so long. I mean, luckily, you might make one video and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's an anomaly, right? But like me making photography videos, my world is consumed by photography. I'm reading the photo books and I'm watching photography videos, and like my brain is just photography, right? So it's quite straightforward for me to just spit that back out into a YouTube video.
Yeah.
People that say they want to make a YouTube video because they want to be a YouTuber, I think it won't work. I think that's a silly idea. Like, we should start a podcast so we can get some views. What's the point in that?
Yeah.
To what end? So like, back to short form content, it's like, we should make some Instagram reels because it's an easy way of getting views. It's like, what's the point in just getting views if it's not going to fulfill?
What's the purpose behind
Yeah.
it? Yeah. What's the
I think
motive?
that matters.
Yeah.
It's easy to be like, oh, make sure your titles and thumbnails look like this, make sure the videos, the hook in the intro sound like this, and put this in your description, and like, I don't know, try and break down the nuggets and the details of growing a YouTube channel. But I think if you're really passionate about it, people will get on board.
Yeah,
I think that matters.
I agree.
And that's probably step 1. Just be super passionate about something and go from there.
No matter what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to make content on YouTube, but if people are like, I want to make a YouTube channel, the next thing they should think about is like, what am I obsessed about?
Yeah.
That's what the content should be about. Not, oh, that guy over there is making content about cars and they're doing really well. I should start making content about cars. That's a folly. That'd be really silly. Yeah. Or like someone in business watching James's business videos being like, oh, we should make business videos. James Sinclair's doing it really well. And it's like, unless you love talking about and you love the thing you're doing and you're all consuming for the next 5 years, don't. There's no point.
Yeah.
It's a bit like my wife always used to say to me, you need a hobby, right? And I was like, she went, what's your passions? What's your hobby? And I really like business, right? Hence why we sort of started this.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, that's not a hobby. I was like, it actually is.
Yeah. James Sinclair's like that. He doesn't do anything outside of him being with his family
Yeah.
and then working. That's it. So it'd be silly if he started a channel about golf or something.
Yeah.
What are you doing, mate?
Yeah. And that's the thing. A couple of months in, they'd drop it.
Yeah, he might do a couple of videos because like he knows how YouTube works. I'm gonna make the video for him. Like I could make a good golf video.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you should do it, mate, just to see what happens.
We wouldn't do that every week because we wouldn't want to do it every week. I think that matters so much more than what you're making.
Yeah.
It's like how you make your money's more important than how much you make.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that's the same with YouTube. What you make and how you make it is more important than the results it gets.
So what's the future for your channel? Do you see much more of the same, or have you got a vision of how things are going to pan out?
Continue trying to improve as a photographer and then sharing that on YouTube. So any thoughts I have about the world of street photography, I'll just continue to document that. My philosophy for my YouTube channel is just to try and keep it chill.
Yeah.
Just like quite straightforward. I think people like that easygoingness of it. I think if my channel is just consistent, I think that matters more than anything else.
Yeah.
If the views grow, I think they will naturally, hopefully, if I make content and I get better each year with it. But I'm not too worried about it. Keeping it fun is the most important thing. So no crazy ambitions with the channel, just to keep enjoying it.
Much more the same.
I think that'll come across though, won't it? And it'll organically
That's
grow.
what I mean. Like the idea of being easygoing, I think, is enough for people to be like, this is easy to watch. I've got loads of photography YouTubers, or a handful of photography YouTubers that I watch. They're just consistent. They just show up every week. Like, here's some stuff I've been thinking about. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Don't need to be like a banging New York trip every video, or like, I'm in Bali this week. Yeah. It's like, it gets a bit tiring, doesn't it? You just can't keep that up.
No.
So consistency, trying to improve as a photographer, and having fun.
That's what people came for, and that's hopefully, more of it will come.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for coming on.
mate.
Cheers, lads.
If anyone wants to find you out on the social media channels, where do we go
Just
for?
Mike Chudley should pop up everywhere. Or James Sinclair's channel. If you're in business, check out James's stuff.
Chuds.
I am Chuds in that world, right? Yeah.
Just in case people didn't
Yeah.
connect the dots.
Yeah, someone commented something about me messing up an edit on one of James's videos. They're like, I can't believe Chuds did this. Then I replied saying, I love you too, or something.
Yeah.
But from my channel, and I think they were like, who?
Yeah.
Who's this? I was like, all right, yeah, I get that. They might have put the link together.
Yeah.
But Mike Chudley in the photography world, and then Chuds on James Sinclair's content.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks for coming in, mate.
Thanks you.
Thank you.